Welcome to the recap of Miss Universe Mexico. My name is Dani Walker. Thank you for joining me. I can't wait to share about all the details for this year's show. First of all, great opening. Love the B-roll footage. I was getting so hyped for this show. Second, the ladies looked gorgeous in this pink opening number outfit, and I thought that it was really unique. When do we really see two-piece looks like this? Not often. Honestly, this look with this fabric was kind of difficult to pull off, but they looked gorgeous. I also really like the opening number and that the girls do a lot of walking. We just see a lot of it. It's like that's all you have to do for an opening number. I know not everybody can dance, so with little dancing, lots of walking, you're always gonna look great. The hosts were lovely and they were so well dressed. Let's talk about swim favorites. Aguas Calientes. This is the first time I got a look at the swim looks and I loved it too, by the way. The blue with the fingerless glove on one side and just the simple oversized hoops. I thought it was fun. I loved it. Anyways, moving on. Beautiful face. Absolutely loved this. And it's tough to be the first, okay? But I will say that this new haircut look, like Shayna's is really setting a trend with all these short hairstyles. We're seeing so many of them, and you gotta have a face for it, and she does. She looked lovely, and this would have been a high score for me. Baja California had a really nice opening spin turn, and she was very well practiced. And let me just say this about the entire group. Wow, great performances. And when I think about all of the national pageants I've watched so far, overall, I would say this is one of our strongest groups of a national pageant. Overall, she did really well, but I do feel like she could have used a little bit more facial expression changes. Chihuahua was very cute. I liked her, but I do wish that she wouldn't have opened her mouth so much at the end of the runway. Ladies, we have to be so careful with our open mouth smiles. We can use them, but just use them sparingly. And don't go too wide. Mexico City was looking good. I do wish the hand placement on the hips was a little bit higher. Unfortunately, I didn't get that good of a look of her at the end of the runway. She turned away really quickly, but from what I did see overall of the performance, I liked her. Colima, her walk looked a little bit slow at the beginning and then she sped it up. I think that was on purpose, but she did a great job at the end of the runway, and she was one of our few contestants that got a really nice up close tight shot at the end, and I loved that. She was a standout for me. Guanajuato, I really like this short hair look on her. I also really appreciated the little hair flip that she did at the end of the runway. For me, it wasn't too over the top, and it was just something that made her a little bit different from everybody else. Guerrero, really, really nice dedicated eye contact throughout this performance. Love her look, love her styling. She's very, very expressive with her eyes as well, and I don't feel like she was overdoing it. Jalisco had some creative she had some creative posing transitions, and I really liked that. I did not see as much of her final look at the end of the runway as I wanted to. I feel like it was tough for a lot of the girls to get that timing just right. And I don't really know if I can say that they're at fault for that, because I don't know who was telling them to stop and to go and where to look and when, or how their practices were going. Michoacan, her opening was giving me Venezuela in the best way. I loved that. There was just something about that look, and I was like, oh, this is great. Such a strong walk. Awesome, awesome performance, confidence, presence, all of it. She was just like flying through to the next round for me. Nuevo Leon, really, really beautiful. Really beautiful, oh my gosh. And her eyes, I do wish she would have looked directly into the camera. Oh my goodness. But it's tough. It's tough to do, but I still liked her. San Luis Potosi, she is beautiful. I do wish she would straighten her legs a little bit more, extend them when she's walking, but I have to say she has such a genuine smile on stage, and that's rare, and I liked that. Sinaloa, one of the things I have to say about her was just great hair. Great hair. The movement to it, the fullness, the volume, loved that. That was really working for her. For swim, I feel like she could have relaxed her shoulders a little bit more, but she just had this really sweet smile and this aura to her. That was my note for her, and so that's what made her stand out to me. Tabasco, I really liked her slower entrance at first. I will say I wasn't sure and positive of her advancing just because I wanted to see her smile a little bit more at the end of the runway since it's swim. Yucatan was very confident, and she had a really great hair flip for swim as well. Zacatecas had a nice spin turn, and also I have to say that she had really great facial expression as well. She was somebody that I noticed, and I just thought she looked so good. Now we had performers, and let me just say, I mean, great great artists. I liked them, but I did scroll through. I couldn't believe how many songs they performed. This was like a mini concert in the middle of the show. I hope y'all had a great time. Let me just say, there were some good songs. I would have been up and dancing in the audience. I've been like, yes, that would be so fun. Gown, let me say this was really, really tough. This was so tough for me, and if I'm completely honest, I just loved everybody. They all brought something different. I wanted to be like, yes, everybody, move forward. But since that is not possible, I had to force myself to narrow things down. My notes were literally like love, 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 love. And then at the end I was like, that's everybody. So I better figure out how to narrow them down. So Colima, wow. Wow, but I will say she did go with our most popular look of the season. To me, I'm seeing this again and again and again, or some variation of silver or white, plus a feather or a fuzzy kind of opera coat. Think Miss Universe Philippines, also top 5, Miss Universe Puerto Rico. We saw something very similar, and now we're seeing it again at Miss Universe Mexico. It's a lovely, lovely look. It's such a statement, but unfortunately it's a little bit popular, a little overdone this season. This was an amazing look. Wow. I love this. I think that she's striking. I think she's absolutely beautiful. Now, I do wish that she wouldn't have had the little clip in her hair, but it's minor. I still like her. Mexico City. I love that she went with this pink. I love it. I feel like we steer away from pink, especially these bright pinks in a Miss division, but I wish we would see more of them. It's a lovely color. Pink looks so great on every woman. I think everybody can wear pink, and I love it. But that aside, I really liked her performance. I feel like she carried this very well, and that she was just happy, and that makes me happy. Help me pronounce the next one, someone. I'm struggling to pronounce the next one. Querétaro? I don't feel confident saying that, but let me just say this. She looked elegant. I need the number 2, her hairstylist, because the coloring is perfect for her skin. Absolutely perfect. Love this. Love the gown, love the styling. It is a very muted look, but she looked very elegant and she carried it so well. I love her. Tabasco wore the exact same gown that Venezuela won in a few years ago. I couldn't believe my eyes. The other crazy thing is, I tried to get this gown for one of my clients in the US, and Douglas said he would not recreate the gown. So I'm like, did he change his mind and recreate it, or is this actually Miss Venezuela's gown? I know one of you have the story. I know somebody knows where she got this gown. Anyways, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous gown, and it's a very queenly gown, and she looked gorgeous in this. Amazing performance. San Luis Potosi. San Luis Potosi. I like this gown on her. I think she looks so lovely and beautiful. Also, the white and the blue reminds me of someone, and I can't figure it out, kind of Miss Venezuela, but there's somebody else that I feel like wore a similar gown style with the fringe. I can't remember it, but I love her. I just think she's so stunning. Guerrero. I love this performance. It was not too much. She looked beautiful. I was actually surprised we didn't see more red gowns. I do feel like this is a common color in Mexico, and we've seen Miss Mexico, the last 2 Miss Universe titles that they had, won in red. So I feel like it's a popular color, looks really, really great, but she had a great performance. Guanajuato. I really love this color. I feel like it's so underrated. We saw something similar on Kristen Dalton winning at Miss USA in 2009. I love her hairstyle with this, that it was slicked back. I thought she was very elegant. She carried this so well. This was a performance I really loved. Comunidad Internacional. I really like this overall look, more so for an award show than a pageant, mainly because of the hairstyle. I feel like this hairstyle looks like an award show. That's the best way I could think of it. That's what I imagine, a celebrity doing this look. So I did want different hair for her, but I did really like the boa, and she did stand out in this look and in this performance. Estado de Mexico. Estado de Mexico. I loved this. I loved the pivot at the beginning. I love the gown on her. I think it was absolutely beautiful. She carried this so well. This was one of my favorite performances. How did she not advance? Sinaloa brought us the drama, and this gown was brilliant. Brilliant. It looks like a galaxy. It looks like the universe. When I saw this, it reminded me of the lava gown. It's iconic like that, and I almost wish she just would have saved it for universe. This gown was that good. It was too good. It was so beautiful. And the star earrings to match it. This was way stronger than swim too. She just like stepped it up to another level for gown. Gorgeous. Now the ladies had 30 seconds to share a speech, so I'm going to talk about some of the standouts for me. Somebody I liked was Mexico City. Now, her speech was really short, and no, she didn't advance, but she was on my edge just because she did share a positive message, and she had a great delivery, you know, and sometimes that'll get you moving forward, sometimes it won't. But it isn't necessarily a bad strategy if you're in a position like this and they're like, give a speech. But I feel like they would have had time to prepare these. Tabasco's speech, it was just so queenly. My Google translation is rough, but she did talk about how the power is in the crown and she wants to be in people's hearts with her story. She wants to raise her voice for Mexico. She wants to represent with dignity and leave a meaningful mark on you all. And my note for her was that she had a very natural delivery. The way I would describe this is just queenly, and her entire look enhanced it. All right, she was looking like a winner at this point. She did an excellent job. Sinaloa, I'm going to talk about her because she's our winner, and I'm actually really surprised that she moved on after this answer. She was choppy in her delivery. She was stop and go. And when we have a very competitive competition, you can't usually make these kind of mistakes. So they must have really, really loved her and really been thinking about her prior performances. Now, she did talk about being a professional in communication, and here's what I think really kind of helped her out a lot. So she had the universe dress, let's just call it that. And she said this, that the universe conspires so that all of your dreams can come true. And when I heard this, I was like, wow, wow, wow. The speech connecting to the gown, it was very well done. But the delivery needed some work. I don't think this would have worked at Miss Universe. Colima, it wasn't so much what she said, because she talked about that she believes in second chances and more so in the strength that we ourselves have to create our own path. Okay, great, fine, but it was just the way that she delivered it. But what I think really hurt her is that she kept going over the time limit. So here and then also when she moved on. Comunidad Internacional, I was very impressed. She shared her story. I was about to cry. She talked about the abuse she overcame. She talked about losing her 6-year-old son, that he was taken away. He didn't pass. Sorry if that was confusing. She is a 40-year-old contestant competing in the pageant, living these dreams out. I wanted to cry. I fell in love with her then. Michoacan shared that in the past she tiptoed and tried not to make noise, and that today she was walking with her head held high and at a firm pace so that people could see her and hear her, and she no longer has to ask for permission. And for me, it wasn't really as much what she was saying again. It was more so her delivery. She was very confident. It did to me sound slightly rehearsed, but the confidence helps with that. San Luis Potosi. So she talked about that there are no limits when you learn to accept your greatness. Everything is inside in our convictions and our passion and in our love in which we do things. Let's not let fear paralyze us, and we should be empowered to do our best. So her message was kind of generic, but honestly, I was very impressed by her delivery and her facials. What surprised me is that when we saw her in swim and gown, she was really good at like the fierce, sexy faces. But then when I heard her speak on stage, I was shocked. The voice, the tone, the expressions, very, very sweet sounding, very different from what I just saw. That was so interesting and very rare to see. I liked her. Let's talk about our top 5. Michoacan. If you were a winner, what would be the main message that you would want to spread as a Mexican woman to the world? She says, I've been a follower of beauty pageants. I long to be in one of them. I'm here. I have fulfilled my dream. I have become that woman I dreamed so much of. I want to transmit that, to share my story of transformation, of growth and perseverance so that many people can follow their dreams. This was good. She did have a good delivery, but the answer itself was pretty safe. I do wish she would have made a reference to her own dreams and like, what is that dream that she's going after? Aside from the title. Aside from the title, ladies. San Luis Potosi was asked about being an ambassador not only of her state, but of Mexico while we are hosts of the next Miss Universe contest in Mexico City. And she says, Mexico has so much to offer and so much to show the world. If I had the opportunity to represent Mexico to the world, I would do it in the best way, showing how we Mexicans are full of love and passion and affection for each other and the things that we do. That's Mexico. And that way I would do it. Now, honestly, this was a pretty solid answer and she did a good job, but once again, I feel like it was a little bit safe. I feel like she could have talked about how she can represent Mexico, like maybe something that makes Mexico unique and stand out, or maybe how you know, being a Mexican woman has influenced her, and maybe she could have referenced something really, really positive about Mexican women. She also talked about how Mexicans are full of love and passion and affection, and that's so true. And maybe she could have referenced how she shows that love, passion, and affection in her community. Tabasco was asked what customs and traditions of our country would you spread during the Miss Universe contest here in Mexico City 2024. Google had a very rough translation of this, so bear with me. She said, we have many customs, and above all, between us is the theme of perseverance. So go ahead. She said something about second chances and that the universe gave that to her. She said, I didn't believe in second chances before, but persevering and moving forward and preparing yourself makes you a better person and makes you grow as a woman. So I don't have that many things to say about this answer because Google was so rough and it was difficult for me. And I thought that the delivery was good though, at least I could take that away. Sinaloa, if you had the opportunity to do anything to improve the position of women in the world, what would you do? Google had a rough time with this one as well. She talked about being a victim of cyberbullying, and she thinks that it's time to have virtual education to start having the necessary tools to end this problem that is happening. Cyberbullying and harassment is something that was a problem for her that has to be eradicated. Now, the thing about her that I think was really smart here is they were like, what would you do to improve things for women? And she talked about something very, very specific, but not only something specific, something that she personally experienced. And I'm also curious why she was cyberbullied. What is going on? People need some resources for help. That is what I have learned, because no happy, healthy person writes the things that I read on social media that are so mean. Friends, it is biblical. Whatever is in here comes out of here, always. So if you see mean comments, you better start praying for that person because there's something going on in their heart that they're struggling with. If they're saying ugly words, it's ugly in here. And that never makes you a beautiful person. Colima. The struggle for feminists in our country has been met with criticism from many people who believe that they affect the social order. What do you think of this? I feel like this question maybe is in reference to men versus women, right? Like it affects the natural order. Maybe that's what they were asking here. I'm not positive. If you can clarify this one, that would be great. She said, thank you very much for the question. Good evening, Mexico. Hello, universe. It's definitely a current problem in Mexico that we lack opportunities for women. We must create more leadership spaces within our society. Women and men are equally intellectually capable. Proof of this is we currently have the first female president elected in the country. So my message is to never give up. And remember, never let anyone limit you. I thought this was a good answer, and I think it was really smart that she talked about something current of the moment, historic. I always think that that's a pretty good strategy to go with. I think honestly she may have placed higher if it was a different round of judges. The other thing I want to say about the show is that it went so quickly, but in a good way. Thank you. Thank you. It was fun to watch. We didn't just sit there for 3 to 5 hours watching nothingness or just waiting and waiting and waiting. Great timing. Well paced. Also, I love that Shayna's was there. She has been one of our busiest Miss Universes. How many countries has she been to? Does anyone know? It's wild. She's literally everywhere. Let's talk about our results. Fourth runner-up was Michoacan. Third runner-up was Colima. And I loved her, but I really think that her long answers are what affected her placement. Second runner-up was San Luis Potosi. First runner-up was Tabasco, and that means our winner. Congratulations, she is Sinaloa. She is our new Miss Universe Mexico, which is so exciting. Also, how crazy would it have been if Tabasco actually won in the same evening gown that Venezuela won in several years ago? Has that ever happened? The exact same evening gown, 2 national competitions. I know we've seen things similar, but this same gown? That's kind of unbelievable. Well, friends, I hope that you enjoyed this recap. I'm so excited to bring it to you. I have so many more recaps coming for you. I have a lot headed your way. So make sure that those notifications are on. Let me know what you want to see in the comments, but let's keep those positive and kind, please. Let us be great examples of a positive pageant community. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you very soon at the next episode.